Productions. Today we're going to do some serious mods on this Ranger. This is a 17 HVAC edition. It's got heater in it, AC in it, fully insulated cab, really cool machine, but obviously it's got some serious clearance issues. They come stocked with 26-inch tire. That just doesn't work for us. We want a 33, 34-inch tire on it. We're going to start with Super SATV, hook us up with a 6-inch portal system. It's a 45% gear reduction. This thing ought to be a monstrous beast when we get done with it. And we've done a few of these. We've done them on Razors. We've done a few Rangers. We're going to do a quick video and kind of show you how we put them together. I think we've done enough of them that we've learned a few tricks to go along. They come with a great instruction manual. They're really easy to follow, but we'll try to show you a few tips. So this is the basic breakdown of the kit we're going to be installing today. These are the portals. Like I said, they provide a 6-inch lift and a 45% gear reduction. They're 5 inches wider, so you get a 10-inch wider total stance on your machine. The new spindles that come with them are made out of cast, are extremely heavy duty. They give you a bigger brake rotor with it. You have a lot more rolling mass. These are slotted. They work really, really well. We also opted to go with a heavy-duty tie rod end kit and a heavy-duty ball joint kit. The stock parts in this isn't meant to have 33 or 35-inch tires, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade that as well. We also had Super SATV hook us up with a 4,500-pound winch. These winches are really, really good. We've ran a whole bunch of them. They've helped us out a lot. They're a great product, and now we'll show you how to put them together. So basically, step one is to jack your machine up and disconnect the ball joints, disconnect the tie rod ends, let the brakes just dangle for now, and just get them separated on all fours. So 4 of the bolts hold the spindles on. Those I go through and they have nuts on the other side. These just are threaded into the casing. The 3 gold bolts that come with the kit need to be torqued to 60 foot-pounds of torque. So basically the installation process is pretty simple. Follow the instructions. You got a front left, front right. Same with the rear. Your brake caliper bolts onto the new brackets that come on. They're clearly indicated in the instruction manual. There's one longer bolt that goes on here. That goes through the new tie rod end assembly here. And they're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Bolt them together. Make sure you hammer them down, get them good and tight. The bolts that hold it together also hold the 2-piece seal together. We've actually taken these things apart. They're constructed really, really well. They're gear to gear inside of them. There's one seal that goes along it. So just make sure when you put them together, you get them nice and tight. So one tip that we've kind of learned along the way, when you're pressing your new studs in, obviously these have multiple holes for multiple machines. The brakes are universal. The outer holes are for your Rangers and your Razors. You can't really put this in a vise, and we learned that beating them with a punch is really, really difficult. So we just put them in, put a nut on them, put a washer, start your factory lug nut back on it that you're probably not going to reuse anyway without the market wheels, and then just hammer them down. Pretty easy. So the factory rear axle comes in the back of the top of the portal here. Typically your axles are held on with a lock nut and a cotter pin. This doesn't have that because it has to be a flush mount for your wheel to go on. So there's a recessed jam nut that goes onto the CV axle. Make sure you put a really healthy coat of Loctite on that that's provided with the kit because you don't want it to come loose. So basically here you can see the difference in the rotor size. Don't act like you're not impressed. So there's a spacer that goes on right before your rotor does. It's tapered in so the rotor has a flat surface to mount to. The shaft is tapered. You slide it over. When you install your brake, make sure your fins are going in a forward direction on all 4 sides. And then just tighten your nut on it, put a key in, you're good to go. So clearly you can see the difference here in the Super ATV heavy duty tie rod kit. We have a Heim style joint instead of a Johnny style. This is a 3/8 bolt that comes through the factory one. We have a 3/4 grade 8 hardened steel joint here. The inner tie rod is probably twice the size. This is a lot stronger application for the project that we're doing here. This is going to work out great. So while you have the front apart, once you've got the portals assembled on here, the tie rod end positioning has changed, and so you're going to have to realign your machine so it isn't towed in or towed out. And so the easiest way to do it is with the tires off of it, grab a tape measure and go from the front side of the rotor to the other side, go from the back side of the rotor to the other side, and make sure you have the same distance so your tires are running true. You can also do it with the tires on, but it's easy to get a precise measurement, especially if you're doing it by yourself off the rotors. So we got the front portal installed, brakes on, hubs put together, our heavy duty tie rod kit is on. One thing you need to be aware of with the calipers, they used to be on the front of the machine and now they're going to be on the back of the machine, and so the bleeder valves are going to be upside down, so you do need to switch them left to right so the bleeder valves are up so the air can get out of them when you bleed them. That's a pretty important thing to remember. Your machine is going to be 5 inches wider on each side, so obviously the calipers stick out a little farther. The kit comes with extended braided brake lines. They're really heavy duty, they're great lines. They mount in the factory location, so when you unclip them off the machine, it's really easy to see how they route and how they go back through. Each one of them is specific with the angles on them to which corner they go on, so as you pull one off, just match it to the one in the kit, reinstall them, bleed them out. Pretty slick. So this should be it's obviously a pretty simple tip, but the reservoirs in these, whether it's a Razor or a Ranger, are really small. Obviously there's a lot of brake fluids in them all the way to the back of the machine, especially a 4-sealer. When you're bleeding these brakes out, make sure you keep checking that reservoir, because as soon as you suck air into it at the top, you got to start all over. It's a big pain, so definitely keep an eye on that. All right, so on the rear calipers, the kit comes with a bracket to bolt on the new brake system. The old ones won't work. On the front, you just switch it back and forth and use the stock hardware on it. It bolts up, but the rear you have to change. On the Razors, you have to do the front and the rear brackets. There's an Allen head screw on the back of the caliper. You twist that out, it takes the pressure off of the pistons on it, and then you can just basically push them down, take the brakes off. They come off fairly simple. Take the old bracket out and be careful not to damage the boots on them. Put the new bracket back in and reverse the process. Bolt them back together. The last thing that we have going here is these take 90 weight gear oil. Get a good synthetic oil to put in them. There's a plug on the very bottom. There's a fill plug on the side. The kit comes with these plugs. Put a little Teflon around them. Put your drain plug in first, obviously, and fill it up with oil. And that's the last step that we have. And unfortunately, our wheels won't be here till tomorrow, so we'll pick it back up then and see how it looks. So our wheels came in today. We put some test tires on. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We went from 7 inches of ground clearance to 22 inches of ground clearance with the portals. That's a 33 1050 tire that's sitting on it right now. We like it a lot. It's super awesome. We decided we're going to take another step. We're gonna put a Super ATV 3-inch lift on it, and then we're gonna do +2 A-arms, give us a little more room. I think we can run a 35 in, so we'll order those up and see how that turns out. So the portals are all done now. We put an additional 3-inch lift on it from Super ATV, give us a little more clearance. We went with a 35-13 Toyo all-terrain tire. The customer this is for is gonna drive on the street quite a bit. He's gonna push snow with it. We're gonna adapt a plow kit onto it. We're probably gonna do a 4-wheel steer kit on it. We're probably gonna do quite a few more mods to this thing. We started at 7 inches of ground clearance. We're at 23 now. This thing ought to go anywhere we point it. So the first things first, we're gonna load this thing up, take it to Moab. You're gonna wanna check out that video.